All right. We are live. I am live here with Sumeena Gupta, a now MRA practitioner graduate. We are just coming off our final call in the practitioner training, and I love that we're doing this right now. There was lots of tears and there was lots of emotions, and I love that we are going to talk about your experience in the practitioner training, as it was so fresh for you.
Yeah.
So Sumeena, you are a business mentor. You help women, and we were introduced to each other through a business mentorship program. And I'm so curious, Sumeena, what drew you to the MRA?
So hi everyone, and because we have just come off the back of the last session, excuse me if I cry because I'm still holding some of that emotion.
Yeah.
Well, I actually came across your work before that business mentorship program, and I don't know if you remember that, but I had been consuming some of your content, being prompted by some of your journal prompts, had
Yes.
investigated your
Yes, I
website.
do remember, of course. Yeah.
So what drew me to definitely to your work and the MRA was some of the language that was being used was very easy to understand. So, I could tap into some of the words that you were using on your website, and I could really understand the content that you were sharing on social media, and it didn't feel sort of far away. It didn't feel, that I couldn't grasp what you were trying to show me. And it felt like there were glimmers in there that were drawing me in further and further. And that's where I got super curious and decided to have a sales call with you. And even though that was all the way back in September and I chose not to join at that time, I knew deep inside that the time would come. So it was just a matter of time. So, for me, it was more of a journey to be ready, because I also knew that when I decided to embark on the journey, I wanted to be there. I wanted to be all in, do the work, really feel the changes that I knew you would take us through. So, to be really ready to receive all of that.
I
That's
think,
that's
yeah, I think that's such an important place to be, and such an incredible awareness to have of being ready for this kind of deep dive and this kind of self exploration, so that you can fully take in all of this work and receive the transformation in the process.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, if anyone's listening and they're thinking, what does ready feel like, or what does ready look like? I truly believe that is 100% different for everybody.
Right.
But probably one of the main things I would say is that that you are going to show up for the 12 weeks. And initially it's the 12 weeks. I have chosen to carry on with the coach pathway, which is another year. And I already knew I would be when I started the 12 weeks. But if someone's sitting there thinking, well, what does ready feel like? What does ready look like? I would say the minimum requirement for that would be like, be ready to show up for 12 weeks and really show up. So even that time in the diary to be there is enough, ready enough, because you hold such good space for everybody, and the group energy holds such good space for everybody that you will become ready during that process. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So what were some of your, what was what to you indicated that you were ready for this? How did you know?
I am constantly on this exploration of self-growth. Like that's always been there, but I've never really had the framework or the language to fit it into. So for me, the promise that I felt coming through from being part of the MRA was to be able to have a framework that I personally could use for myself, so that I could understand where my self-development journey was going. But also I have 3 children. So with my kids, I'm very committed to their growth as well. So to have a language and a framework for them. And what I noticed also is that it's given me an amazing framework for my clients who, even though I'm a business mentor, so much of my work is about, now I know the rebel mind and where we go with that, and the beliefs that we have to shift and the growth we have to have internally. So I love the fact that I can use a framework in so many different areas of my life, and I needed that. actually. It was that this real need for some language and framework that allowed me to express what I wanted to do for myself and what I want to do for other people in my world. And I did, and I've got that. I've got that from this first 12 weeks from the practitioner, and I can only imagine how much it's going to grow from the coaching pathway. You're like, yeah, you wait.
Yeah, you just wait. I just too excited to dive in. So
I feel
how did you know the coach pathway was for you?
so. I already knew. I never ever thought, I don't go for the certifications or the ticks in the box or the qualifications for the sake of them. For me, it has to have more than just the kind of credentials. It has to have an application in my world and in the work that I want to do in the world, because I'm very clear that I do want to do some big work in the world and I do have a purpose. So the coach pathway for me, I knew that I needed it actually to hold space comfortably for people as they are going through their transformation, knowing in my heart of hearts that I'm doing it from a place which is valid and has been looked at and is certified and rubber stamped, because I know how much damage I could do if I didn't feel good about that. So because of the work that I want to do in the world, I wanted to have security around the way that I was doing it. And I know the coach pathway, whether it was with you or with someone else, in all truth, would give me that. But I know that I want to do it with the Mind Rebel Academy, because I love the approach you have, the language you have, and every interaction I've had with the business, from every single person that I've spoken to, every way, and every email we've had, every conversation I've had, everyone who has interacted with me, it's just been just so well held. And I feel a lot, and I feel that authentic, the integrity, the authenticity, the commitment. It's just there throughout, from every single thing. Even the fact that you have an app that is dedicated to the people who are part of your world. And yeah, there's so little ego in everything that's being done, and so much integrity and authenticity. It comes through all the time. So for me, it became a really easy decision from day one.
Emotional. I'm already very emotional from our class, but it's oh, here we go.
I feel like we both might cry after carrying all of that.
Yeah, it feels so beautiful to be reflected like that, because we do pour our hearts and souls into serving the students, and coming from a place of such integrity and such alignment within ourselves, so that we can hold such sacred space for our students. And just to hear that back from you, that that's what you feel at every point along the way, it just feels really, really, really nice. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I'm able to express that in a way that you can receive it, because anyone who's watching, I mean, this is a testimonial, and any people who are watching this are probably thinking, is this right for me? Do I want to do this? Do I want to spend the 12 weeks? Do I want to invest the money? And for me, yeah, I've been part of different programs and I've invested in different things, but for sure, the level of the amount I felt seen in this whole process I haven't felt that in many places. And I run my own hospitality business, so I know how to do good hospitality. It's literally one of my strengths. So I see it here, that level of service and hospitality that comes through even though it's not like a restaurant or a resort. But
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that, because that's one of our core values, is how we serve our people.
Perfect. Yeah, it comes through. Comes through.
What would you say? What would you say is so finishing at practitioner, you've got we'll have to do a testimonial video, we'll have to do an interview after you're done coach pathway, but what would you say you are walking away with today as we wrap up practitioner training? What are you walking away with?
That is such a good question, because I think instantly the answer comes to my mouth, and that is confidence around knowing that I can always find the answers for myself. Right? That even though this is only the practitioner and I'm not a qualified coach yet, I still believe that I've got the tools, I've got the framework, I've got the language to go and spend 20 minutes with myself and find the answers, or know that it's not the right time to find the answers, right? Like that's part of it. That's part of knowing your rebel mind and saying, okay, this is not the right time. Like go do your research, or go do the thing that you need to do and come back later. So that real confidence of saying, I got this. So that, you know, that feeling that I don't need to be with other, like having being held by someone else and needing, it's like, it's here and I can do this. And although I love, you know, I have a lovely supportive husband and friends and the community that we have here, it's just that I don't need it. It's there. It's all in here.
Yeah.
And I believe that might be where you want to leave people by the end of the 12 weeks as well.
Absolutely. It's this journey of coming home to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of one of those things, it's like, how do you describe that? What does it even mean, come home to yourself? But I think you just described it so beautifully. It's knowing that the answers and the wisdom, the intuition, it's always accessible inside of us. Sometimes it's not the right time to access it because of life and, you know, children and all the things, but knowing that it's always there waiting for you. Yeah. And all of your next steps, all of your wisdom, the answers to every problem, all of your solutions is there, you know, waiting to connect with whatever it is that you believe in, but waiting to connect to help guide you on this journey.
And can I just add, like anyone who's hearing that and thinking, well, everybody says that, and I hear that being used, you know, that language being used a lot, I would just like to reflect that there's, in the 12 weeks that you work together, you do teach us how to do that. Like you're not just throwing those sentences out there, and they're not just, you know, it's not just buzzwords and fancy language. It's the truth that we learn how to do exactly what you just said there. And I would love to add that it's so simple the way that you do it, not in a dismissive, like, oh, it's so simple, but in a, you just make it, you and the whole academy make it so easy to understand. Like you're not trying to be too clever. It's not trying to be overwhelming. It's not trying to, you know, show that you're really smart. It's like simplicity is probably one thing that I felt almost after every session.
Oh, yeah. It's like sometimes I think it's almost so simple we could miss it because it's so simple, right? And you're right, and it's like shedding all the complexities and shedding all of that and just coming back to what's so true within every single one of us, and that every single one of us has access to this.
Yeah. And I think simplicity, why I appreciate the Mind Rebel, like the approach and the language and everything, is that I think simplicity gets underrated. People think that it doesn't feel like worthy enough, but it gets results. Right? Yeah. Like today's session, there was, I know that in my group, there was over, I think, 10 or 12 women, and every single one of them had a transformation in these 12 weeks. Every single one. I mean, that's like 100% success rate, right? How many 12 weeks programs could say that? And there was a number of people in there who reflected that they had done a number of 12-week programs where they didn't really get anything out of it because it felt too complex or over their head, or, you know, there was too much packed in. This was like, no, you're going to all get to this point at the end, and every single person did. So that's, I don't know if you felt
business mentor. This is like, thank you for reflecting that back to me. Sumeena, who would you say this is for?
Every single person out there, including my kids and my husband and my clients. But I actually, I'm not even sure, but do you only work with women? It feels like you do. Yeah. Okay. So women. Who is it for? I would say, doesn't matter where you are in your self-development journey. You may have done, you know, thousands of courses. You may have done zero. That isn't what's relevant here. This is for anybody who's thinking, I just want to have things explained, and I want to have a framework that I can access at the drop of a hat that feels really easy for me to use for myself, but also I know I can use it for the people around me, whether it's as a teacher or as a mother or as a partner. Like, you know, I know we don't coach our partners, but, you know, we can recognize their rebel mind, for example, right? So to put it in a simple way, anyone who wants to have a relationship with themselves or anybody in the outside world, I would say that this would not be an investment wasted.
Yeah. One other thing that's coming to me, that as I observe the students in the MRAs, one of the threads is that they have this deep desire to create impact in this world.
Yeah, for sure.
They are the change makers. They are the light workers. They are the helpers, the healers, the people for their people.
And what I noticed, that they don't always know that before they join, but there's
Yes.
something happening.
There's something happening, and they feel, it's almost like they get pulled here to ignite that within them.
Yeah. And the great thing is that there is space held for that. There is space held for the vision of yourself that you maybe even right now can't even acknowledge for yourself, but by the time you're held by the group, by you, by the process, you're able to hold that vision for yourself. And that's part of why we were all crying today, because the visions everyone shared, there was a number of people who said it's stretchy, but it feels right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say anyone listening who's got that little bit now and again, even like that 1 second a day where you're like, there's something, this is something to at least have a conversation about, minimum.
So tell us about your, so you're going to be carrying on to the coach pathway, and I know you have a big vision.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share it with us?
I didn't have a big vision. Let me just be clear. Like, I'm in my mid-40s now and happily had been building my business, living my life with my family, and absolutely loving that. And then I realized I had a lack of fulfillment. And that was my little bit of a calling. That was like, oh, okay, what's going on? Why am I feeling that way when I have so much? And that's where my vision started to develop. And that's why I'm so appreciative of being on the coach pathway, because it's a way of me being able to deliver my vision, which is to help any woman who wants to live life on her terms to be able to figure out what that is and to actually go out there and execute on it, because I believe that is our right, that is our path in this world. And I specifically do want to work with leaders, because I know that there are a lot of bad leaders out there, and I know that good leaders can change the world, whether it's within a business, within the family, within your community, as whichever place you take in the world as a leader, if you identify as one. Women who lead knowing that they're in their highest, most authentic version of themselves will make a change in this world. And I will be part of that if I can. Do my bit. Do my bit.
It gives me shivers. And I so believe in your vision and the importance in the work that you're doing in the world.
Thank you. Yeah, and I do as well. And I know that, this isn't going to be, oh, you're, qualified with the academy and you're done. It's part of it. And that is great. But I remember when I messaged you, even before I started the practitioner program, and I told you where I wanted to go with it. And you sent me a book recommendation. And that book recommendation was exactly what I needed at that time. Right, so it's just a small thing, but it's you being able to see my vision with me, even before you knew me, even before we'd started, even before any time had been spent together. You understood where I was going, and you were able to guide me, even before anything started. So I can't imagine what's going to happen at the end of the 12 months, like where this is going to go.
Yeah, and I think that is the gift that a coach gives. Is to be able to see whether it's a student or a client, but to see their vision and to hold it before they can even muster it out loud, and just to hold them there steadfastly, like, and that is the power of coaching, is to be reflected like that, to be mirrored back like that, and then to be able to just be so held in stepping into that.
Yeah. Could I just add actually that now that you say that, you really are a master coach, and what you do bring to the sessions is that coaching element, which I think a lot of people who teach these programs, or they go into teacher mode and they're just about delivering the material, whereas I feel like you actually bring that coaching also to the sessions. And what I feel now that I'm looking back at this last session where everyone shared their vision, you knew people's visions and what they were going to share probably 6 weeks ago before any of us even shared. And today I noticed there was a few people hesitant, but you were able to bring them to a place where they wanted to share. So no one gets left, no one gets left behind. No one's not seen. No one's able to hide. And that's one thing I would say, is that you cannot enter this process and be transformed. Right? You can't. You just won't allow that. And that's your coaching that you bring to the table, which you don't have to, of course, because that's just another element of what you do. You're a coach as well, and you're a teacher, but here you mesh them together. And I don't think a lot of people do that as a leader of a program like this, or as a person who delivers a program like this. So I definitely appreciate that nuance.
My heart is overflowing.
I hope that's what you intend to do, because you really
Yes, it is exactly what I intend to do, and also it's what I intend to teach you and all the others in the coach pathway to be able to do when they deliver their curriculum-based group coaching programs, to be able to shift from facilitator to coach, because that facilitator teaching tells or teaches someone a way. When you marry that with coaching, it helps them to integrate that way into their lived experience. And the marriage of those two things is so incredibly powerful. And so you wear these two hats. And my intention in the coach pathway is to teach you how to do the same thing.
Yeah, we will. I know this for sure, that we will learn a lot just from observing. I already have, and I know I will more and more and more as time goes by. So, there are many, and this is true, anyone listening, they're probably thinking there's many coaching certifications out there. There's many ICF pathways out there. There really are. And I would just say, yeah, do your research, and in all honesty, you should, like we all do, and they all have different price points, and they all have, but I would definitely say dig deep into this one and see if the language speaks to you, if the people you interact with speak to you, if the stuff you share on social media, I think you're very open with what you share on social media, speaks to you, because there's enough there for you to say, this is the one for me. And I know that I'm so invested in this whole program that even if someone came to me and said, oh, I bet this one's really great, I don't need to hear that. Like, this is I'm all in. Yeah. And that's the best way to be with anything that we do, especially when we're investing so much time, energy, and money. It's like that feeling of being all in. So listening to things like this, which, are shared from the heart, and this really is me sharing from the heart, that I'm telling you things that I've probably said to you and said to other people. But making a decision that feels so right that nothing can steer you off that path. Like, this is it.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Such a heartfelt, all of your beautiful answers. I'm just so grateful for you, Sumeena, and so very excited to continue this next leg of our journey together. We've just begun. And I just want to thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. And I'd also like to say, if there's anyone listening who wants to actually connect and ask me personally any questions that they might have, or if they have any hesitant or any qualms, they can message me. So they can connect with me on Facebook on DMs. I'm absolutely okay with that, because I know how much testimonials, as a business mentor, I know how much testimonials really, really help you as a person make a decision. And I wouldn't want anyone to make a big investment of time, energy, and money without really feeling that it was worth it.
Thank you for that offer.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sumeena, thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.